We're going to get started a little bit. Give me a few seconds. Over here. Going to post on my broadcast real quick. Be right with y'all. If you have any questions regarding digestive health, you guys can post them in the comments. The benefit of you getting on a call so that you can actually ask questions. Because oftentimes when we're dealing with different digestive problems, we don't know how to resolve them. Of course, none of this professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. This is just information. You guys can look. If you're dealing with conditions, medical conditions, you gotta work with your doctor, your healthcare provider, to find a solution for you. Now, through my own personal health journey, I had to look for information outside of my scope of awareness. There's just so much information that is beyond my radar screen, and I want to share some information with you that could be helpful on your journey. Now, one of the first things you gotta fix is chronic constipation. The title of my video today is all about chronic constipation. If you cannot poop, that's going to cause many problems down the line for you. When you're dealing with chronic constipation, just look at this photo. This is a picture of your colon. The picture of your colon is currently encrusted with fecal matter. You need to go from the picture on the left to the picture on the right. This is your digestive system. Most people don't know what this is looking at when they first look at this, but I'm going to break it down to y'all so it's easy to understand. First, I'm going to go live on my Instagram real quick. And also probably my Facebook. When you're dealing with your digestive system, this is where you're looking at. Food goes down to your mouth, down the esophagus, into your stomach. Your digestive enzymes start to break down the food. Then food enters your small intestines next, which is 4.5 meters, followed by the large intestine, another 1.5 meters in length. It's a very long piece of pipework. Now, this is just a drawing of the digestive system to help you understand it a lot more clearly. It's just a very long piece of pipework. That's all it is. Food enters your mouth, down the esophagus, into your stomach. Digestive enzymes start to break down the food. The food enters your small intestines next, 4.5 meters, followed by the large intestine, 1.5 meters in length, and out the back for elimination. Just how long was this pipework? I relate this back to basketball. When you're playing basketball, from the floor to the basketball rim is 3 meters off the floor, or roughly 10 feet. Okay? The combined length of your small and large intestines is like 2 NBA hoops stacked on one top of one another. That's how, so this is combined height right here, 20 feet or 6 meters. That's how long your digestive system is. Now, through years of eating, now we've all eaten a lot of food. That's going to cause some problems if you're dealing with some constipation issues, and if you do not resolve whatever constipation issues you're dealing with now, it only gets worse. So over here, what we're looking at is the colon, okay? Over here, coming back to this photo, we're looking at this portion right here. This is the ascending portion, transverse, descending portion over here. Chronic constipation, you're dealing with fecal matter that is currently stuck in your colon right now. And you need to find a way to get this material out of your body safely. Most of you may be experiencing this, just as I was. You're on the toilet, you're spending a lot of time on the toilet, but nothing is coming out. So you're huffing and puffing, begging and pleading. You got veins popping out on the side of your temples. At the end of all that work, what do you get? you get a few pebbles. Now, when you have elimination that is incomplete, residues of all feces can build up in layers in the walls of the colon. As they putrefy, they can cause health problems, pain, and discomfort. Okay. Now, I want to share with you a protocol that I've used over the past 5+ years. I've taught this to myself. I've worked on the formulation of it. I taught this to my family members who are using it on a regular basis, and I taught this to hundreds of people around the world how to do this protocol. And what you got to do is just go to the grocery store, get you some of these ingredients. Now, you may have these already in your household. So what you're going to get at the grocery store, you're going to get apple cider vinegar without any sugar added. Next, you're going to add limes, lemons, or grapefruit. Now, I've been using grapefruits for the last couple of years. I think they're the best tasting. But if you're on certain types of medications, you want to make sure it's not going to, have any interaction with it. Next, you're going to buy some food grade Epsom. You're going to buy some pink salt, fine grain. So get some pink salt, fine grain pink salt. If you don't want to use pink salt, you can also get food grade Epsom salt. If you go on Amazon, you'll find a lot of Epsom salt. They're just for soaking. They're not for consumption. So you guys can look for this one, pure magnesium sulfate, and it's got to be food grade. Okay. What are we trying to do? We're trying to clean out this pipework. To fix your chronic constipation, you must understand how your body works. Over here, this is black coffee prepared separately. So apple cider vinegar, limes, lemons, or grapefruit, pink salt, or food grade Epsom salt. Now you're going to get a couple more things from the store. And just put together this kit for yourself. Put this together kit for yourself just for the self-flush solution. When you're at the stores, I want you to get these ingredients and items. Over here, a bottle of water. This is about 2 liters in volume. Then you're going to get a metal mesh screener to help you strain. Over here, the single press squeezer for your lemons, limes, or grapefruit. Then get measuring spoons, okay? Measuring spoons to make sure you measure accurately. They must say the amount of milliliters on them. Then you're going to get stainless steel thermos. This has over 1 liter in volume. And another cup over here. This is another stainless steel cup. This is just prepared for black coffee only. No sugar, cream added to this. So you want to just screenshot this so you have this when you go to the store. And every single week, I've been doing this every single week since 2019. About June, July of 2019. I never stopped. It's over 5 years. So I have a little kit just for this. So oftentimes we may have all these different things in different places. This is kind of like your self-flush kit. So get these items, get the tools. Now you're going to mix these ingredients in the stainless steel thermos in these specific proportions. Okay. Some people, they just kind of mix things up randomly. That's why they don't have that laxative effect. I want to give you a couple steps that's going to be incredibly important for your success. Number one, there's a bit of a fasting period, okay? You just got to push through. The night before, you're finishing dinner around 7:30 p.m., okay? Now over here, you can still drink water, liquids, but you cannot eat any late night snacks. The next morning around 11 a.m., when you first wake up in the morning, you cannot eat any breakfast. Do not eat any breakfast. You can still drink some liquids, drink some juices, but do not eat anything. At 11 a.m. on an empty stomach, you want to make this in thermos. You want to add 1 tablespoon and 2 teaspoons of pink salt or food grade Epsom salt. So that's 25 milliliter total of salt. Epsom salt doesn't have any sodium. So for those of you you're worried about the pink salt, the sodium content, you can use Epsom salt. Over here, you're going to cut and squeeze 3 lemons or limes or 1 grapefruit. Filter through the metal mesh strainer. You do not want to have any pulp or seeds inside this solution. You're going to add a 1/4 cup apple cider vinegar, put in the stainless steel thermos, add 2.5 cups of hot water in the stainless steel thermos, and stir. Okay, after you stir, you're adding another cup of room temperature water to stir. And you're going to bring back down that temperature of that water. So you guys can screenshot this. So these directions are very, very specific, and they're all important. I see a lot of people, they're trying different self-flush protocols online. They're not successful with it. This is the one I've been using over 5+ years, and I can give the same recipe to a complete stranger somewhere else in the world, and they can be very, very successful with it if they're to follow my directions to a T. Not just in the proportions of how you make the self-flush protocol, but also how you drink it. So the night before, you're finishing dinner at 7:30 p.m., no more late night snacks. Next morning, you can still drink water, but no breakfast. What are we trying to accomplish? We're trying to clean out this complete pipework. If you have all this food stuck in here, right? Say if you eat late night snacks, or if you wake up in the morning and eat breakfast, you're gonna have a whole bunch of food stuck in this pipework, and as you're drinking the self-flush solution, it's not gonna go down. It's not gonna create that laxative effect you're looking for. Because what we're trying to accomplish is get this whole pipework completely cleaned out to push out all the debris that's accumulated over the years out the back into the toilet. That's what we're trying to do. Now over here, I'm going to share with you how to exactly drink this protocol. Most people mess this up as well. I've also made a lot of mistakes myself, so I want to share with you so you can avoid the same mistakes that I made. On your table, there are only 3 items after you mix everything together. You do not want to have any objects that you can break. Do not use glass, do not use ceramic, any type of container that could shatter. When you're using glass, even if you don't shatter it, they could experience thermal shock, right? Because you're putting in hot water. Now, what's going to happen is that this is going to create such a laxative effect, you may be knocking things over. If you knock things over, this stuff may break all over the floor. Now your floor is completely wet, but you're still running back and forth to the bathroom. And in the process of doing so, you may fall and cut yourself. Now the next thing, you're at the ER. At the ER, they can't figure out what the hell's wrong with you because you're shitting out of your behind. And you got glass all over your body. And the doctor said, what the hell happened to you? And you embarrass and tell them, listen, I just watched this YouTube video online. I don't know what happened. Please do not mention my name. I've already told y'all what the risk factors are. What you're going to do, you're going to take a tiny sip of this water, hold it in your mouth. Tiny sip, hold it in your mouth. You're not drinking this. Over here, you're going to take a slightly bigger gulp of the self-flush solution, put it down. Then you're going to take a tiny sip of this black coffee, kind of reward yourself. When you first start taking this, you may not like the taste of the self-flush solution, so you can go and buy a stainless steel straw. Okay, you can go on Amazon, anywhere. A lot of stores, they have this as well. And that's going to help you put the solution down. Now, I've done this protocol so many times right now, it doesn't even affect me that much. I don't sense it tastes bad anymore, especially when I'm using grapefruit. So over here, tiny sip, taking a bigger gulp, and a tiny sip, okay? You're going to repeat this process over and over. If it's too hot initially, you want to set it aside. Don't drink it right away because there's got to be some temperature to this, but it's not going to be burning your tongue. Hot expands, cold contracts. Okay, right now we want to use this warm material, warm solution to kind of go down our digestive tract to expand our pipes a little bit so they can do the cleaning process. And listen to some classical music in advance. That's going to help you relax. The more relaxed you are, the better. So tiny sip, bigger gulp, tiny sip, and your goal is to put down the self-flush solution first. You're not trying to put down both the water and the self-flush solution down at the same time. That's a mistake. So tiny sip, bigger gulp, tiny sip. You're not trying to drink this black coffee. You're just taking a tiny sip. This is the solution that's going to work through your digestive tract to clean your body. That's what we want. If you try to put down the sulfur solution and the bottled water together, you're going to be very, very bloated. So that's about 3 liters. Plus, you're going to dilute down the solution. If you dilute this down, you also may not get that laxative effect. I've tried this hundreds of times, so I can tell you guys definitively how this is done. Now I'm going to check all my social media periodically to make sure there aren't any questions that can help answer. So doing something like this is a process, and you may not get good at it right away, but just kind of like riding a bike, you must, if it works for you and it's something that you want to do in the future, you find this to be effective, you want to continue to do it on a regular basis. You don't just want to set it aside and do nothing with it, because a lot of people, they take detoxing kind of like, oh, I'm going to do this once every 6 months or so. No. If you brush your teeth every day, right, you shower regularly, there's got to be other routines that you do to help clean out your body on the inside. Oftentimes, you're presented with all these different medical symptoms, conditions, and you don't know what's the root of the problem. Well, having a bowel movement every single day is one of those important KPIs that you must have. Something you cannot neglect. Most people neglect it. 1 to 2 days chronic constipation turns into 2 to 3 days, 3 to 4 days, 4 to 5 days. Before they know it, they're a whole week into it. That's what I try to get you guys to avoid, because we're going to share a lot of practical pessimism and liabilities concerns if you do not fix this. So screenshot this real quick. Sipping on the bottled water, hold it in your mouth. Taking a bigger gulp with the sulfur solution, drink it down. Then you're going to sip on black coffee, optional. Repeating steps 1 through 3. So you can get some water. But your goal is to finish the sulfur solution first. Are you guys with me? Now, what's going to do is that you're not in a rush. This is not a race. You can take 45 minutes, you can take 1 hour, you can take an hour and a half. I don't care how long it takes you to put down the sulfur solution. But eventually, if you keep yourself in a relaxed state of mind, relaxed body, you're breathing into your diaphragm, so your stomach is going up and down in a nice rhythm, eventually the sulfur solution is going to work its way first into your small intestine, begins to clean out the small intestine. The small intestine is 4.5 meters and has a surface area of a football field. Over years of eating, so much debris is trapped inside the small intestines now. Microplastics and even remnants of food that you've eaten all over the years. Over time, that waste material is going to get pushed into your large intestine. Okay, this will be on your right side. This is the ascending portion, transverse and descend. When it gets pushed into your large intestine, you may have this unction of feeling to go to the bathroom. And you're going to have some poop milestones I want you guys to take note of over here. First, you're going to get stalls to first come out. Okay. Many people all over the world, their colon has been encrusted with hardened fecal matter. They're never getting a proper exit of the number 2. This stuff will push out so much material, and sometimes the color will be pitch black. I'm talking about like this. I'm talking about like charcoal, okay? That's what happened to me when I started doing this protocol back in 2019. It's just so much stuff you had no idea it was trapped inside your body. That's why when you do detox protocol, it's not a one-time thing. You got to keep it consistent, because there's always more, okay? So solids are going to transition eventually to soft poop. And over time, it's going to transition to really, really soft poop. And then finally, it's going to be turned into brown water, lots of it. When that happens, when you're between here and here, you still have plenty of water here. I want you to chug this water. You can even bring this water bottle into the bathroom while you're on the toilet. You're drinking from this bottled water, and you're adding more water pressure into your digestive tract to really flush out all the debris from beginning to end. You know, coming down, that water just rushes down because right now you are spewing out all these toxins from your behind. This is what you're experiencing. You're experiencing a diarrhea tsunami, just spewing out all this nasty material. And the smell is absolutely horrendous. So just got to get a fan going. You got to get the ventilation going. Warn your families and loved ones in advance because it's absolutely horrendous. And when you're going to add more of this water pressure, you're going to continue to spew out more and more. And this process may take a couple of hours, okay? You have a lot of trapped waste material inside the colon, and now you are releasing them very, very quickly. And now you're adding more water pressure to really flush out all the debris from the small and large intestines. Now, in the process of doing so, the color of this exit, it's going to become lighter and lighter and lighter if you're doing it right. It's going to come out pitch black dark initially, then it's going to become brown, very dark brown water, then it's going to become lighter and lighter brown color, and that's what you need. When you're on the toilet, I want you guys to also look for an angle. You can buy yourself a stool. You don't necessarily have to get a squatty potty. You can get a cardboard box, just stack some things in it so it's very firm, very sturdy. Just make sure that it's safe. You're not going to trip over it because human beings, we are designed to use the bathroom at a squatting position, not at a 90 degree. This 90-degree toilet is what's causing a lot of chronic constipation. Of course, a lot of people don't know that. Even when you're using this toilet seat, it is also squeezing your butt cheeks. If it's squeezing your butt cheeks, it's squeezing against the anus, so poop has a tough time going out. So I recommend y'all, not only are you going to get some type of a stool, you want to lift up your toilet seat. Just wipe down this toilet and sit directly on the toilet without the toilet seat. I've done it for a couple of years now, and the process just makes it so much easier because the garbage just falls right out. You don't have to make anything happen. So keep it very, very simple, y'all. So I'm going to check through my that is the soft-flush protocol. Now, after you do this protocol, I want you guys to recoat back up your digestive tract with some probiotics. Now, you don't have to buy any of these. You can work with ones that work for you. There are many different probiotics in the market, and I tried cheap ones, expensive ones. For me, the cheap ones work the best, okay? And you want to eat some really soft fruits. It could be congee, it could be papaya, it could be oatmeal, nothing heavy. After you clean your digestive tract, you may feel extremely hungry and you want to kind of pull yourself back a little bit because if you try to eat too quick, you may throw it up. Okay, that happened to me before. So what you guys got to do, you want to work with very, very soft foods, kind of rebuild back up your system. Just make sure that everything can pass through very, very easily. And that, in a nutshell, is the soft-flush protocol. Okay, and many people don't know how to clean out this pipework. Coming back to human physiology, this may not be the right protocol for you. I don't know how severe you are with your chronic constipation. Maybe you're extremely backed up right now. Okay, nothing is coming out. And you may have to go look for assistance first, something called colon hydrotherapy. Now, I haven't even tried this myself. You guys got to work with your doctor, work with your specialist to see if it's right for you. Now, my friend was in this industry. She said that it definitely helped her a lot. This is the apparatus that you just lay on. You just kind of just lay on here, and then the colon hydrotherapist, they're putting in hot water through the back end to help escort out the waste material from the large intestine. There's a lot of waste material in here now, and this may be the process you need to go do first before doing the self-flush protocol. I just don't know how chronically constipated you are, okay? And once they can get this out, then, because this only cleans out the large intestine, it does not clean out the small intestine. Coming back to this photo right here, what is colon hydrotherapy all about? We are dealing with only this portion right here. So they're putting in water here, over time, the waste material is going to loosen up and it's going to flow right back out. And then the colon hydrotherapist may increase that water pressure, to go up into more of your large intestine to do more of that flushing. But it's not going to reach the small intestine. Many people, they have an inflamed small intestine just from chronic constipation, eating a lot of trash foods, artificial coloring, flavors, microplastics. So I think this whole pipework, they're both very, very important. If you want to recover your health, recover chronic constipation, is cleaning out both the small and large intestines combined. But you got to communicate well with colon hydrotherapists, make sure they're experienced, and you tell them exactly what you're dealing with. Because if they are inexperienced and they're putting in the water pressure too quick, well, you may get a perforation in the colon, and all this waste material is flowing outside of your bowel cavity, out of your large intestine. And you may go into sepsis shock and end up at the ER. There's always a risk if you perform any sort of natural health procedure, okay? There's definitely a risk if you were to use the self-flush protocol, and there is a risk if you do absolutely nothing and you sit on your hands. And we're going to talk about that today, because this is what most people do. People don't understand how severe the problem is until, I will get to that too in a little bit. I'm going to spin through my social media over here. Do you guys have any questions? Ask any questions. All right, liabilities, concerns, and practical pessimism. What happens if you continue to ignore chronic constipation? How do you define chronic constipation? If you're not going to the bathroom daily, you're chronically constipated. That's how I define it. Because the more you neglect this problem, it just gets worse over time. We're looking at a photo of toxic megacolon. So this is out of a human being. They extracted this colon out of a human being. What did it extract? They extracted this part right here completely. Got it out. This person just sat on constipation for such a long time, they ended up with a megacolon. Now this is definitely life-threatening disease, complication, inflammatory bowel diseases. These diseases can be painful and cause permanent damage to the large and small intestines. IBDs include ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, infections caused by this other colitis. A toxic megacolon is characterized by swelling, dilation of large intestine due to the inflammation and accumulation of large amount of gas. Now, just because I'm reading these from different medical websites, it does not mean I actually agree with everything that they write. I'm just using logic here. This is a lot more than just gas stuck in the colon. It's all the food you've eaten. It's all the Domino's pizzas, the Taco Bills, okay, the Chick-fil-A, the McDonald's, the frozen pizzas. All this food you've been eating, the potato chips, the Costco free samples, okay? If you're not exiting this waste material, it's still somewhere in your body. There's a very important rule when it comes to your digestion. What goes through your mouth, okay, when you eat through your mouth, it must exit out the back as waste and elimination. This is a 1-to-1 ratio. So if you're taking notes today, write this down. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. Now you may be wondering, well, what happens next after they had this amazing, incredible medical procedure? Well, they got a whole bunch of other procedures for you lined up. For example, this is your colon, and something is diseased with the descending portion of your colon. You may be dealing with a left hemicolectomy. What you'll notice in the medical industrial complex is that they have a lot of plug and play for you. That's to say, this part is diseased, so they cut it off. After they cut it, they put it back together by connecting the remaining sections. Over here, this end portion of your colon is diseased, so they remove it. Well, you may be wondering, well, how does the poop go back out? Because it has to connect to your anus, right? They got something called colostomy, and they're going to create a hole, a stoma, in the abdominal wall, which will allow the waste to leave the body. A colostomy bag attaches to the stoma to collect the waste. You're going to have to manage this waste bag, the stoma bag, for the rest of your life. There are many people, they don't recognize the early signs of chronic constipation, and how I define this. You must go to the bathroom every single day. That's how it's going to be. Over here, somebody is doing a right hemicolectomy. The ascending portion of the colon is messed up. This is your appendix here, and this portion is connected to your small intestine. So over here, let's just say the doctors completely removed this ascending portion of the colon. More plug and play. They're going to reattach the small intestine to this portion right here, to the remaining portion of your colon, so your fecal formation can happen here. Now, in a case like this, the doctors remove the complete colon. They have something called ileoanal anastomosis procedure. What this does is that over here, this is your small intestine, so the colon is completely removed. This is completely removed from the body. They're working with the rest of your small intestines to create a pouch around the anus, so it allows your waste material to exit out of the anus. Okay. You can expel waste normally through the anus, although you'll likely have several watery bowel movements daily. See, one of the functions of your large intestine is to draw out the water from the feces formation. Over here, you may have to be on using adult diapers for the rest of your life. That's what's going to happen. And people don't look into this early enough until they're at the doctor's office and they're being presented with all these different procedures. Right? So what do you want to do? You want to catch these early signs of chronic constipation early and fix it. Over here, you may end up with the colon severely displaced. What is the displaced colon? Now, maybe a better word for displaced is the colon begins to take a different form. Okay? Over here, you can see a natural colon, a healthy colon, has an ascending portion transverse, and this kind of tilts up to the upside before coming back down to the descending and out the back for elimination. Over here, you can see the colon is all over the map. It goes up, then it loops back down. So the transverse portion of her colon is completely messed up. And then it loops back up into her lungs area. So she may have trouble breathing or shortness of breath. And finally makes it back down for waste elimination. When she's standing up, what's going to happen is that all this waste material has to fight against gravity just to get to this portion in the colon. Kind of like a roller coaster before it makes its way to this segment of the colon on its way back down. That could be another outcome if you push off chronic constipation. What's another outcome? Potential. You might be dealing with diverticulitis. Okay? Look at that photo right here. This is the descending portion of the colon. Now there could be some pouches called diverticula start to form in the GI tract, become inflamed and infected. This condition commonly occurs in the Western population and can be seen in 10% of people over the age of 40 and 50% of people over 60. The rate of this disease typically increases with age. Scientists believe that this condition is due to not eating enough fibers. Not eating enough fiber leads to constipation, which puts extra pressure on the colon walls. and this causes diverticula or bulges to form in the weak areas of the colon. The risk factors for diverticulitis may include age over 40, male, overweight, eating a low-fiber diet, eating higher fat and red meat, not enough exercise, taking non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs like aspirin, ibuprofen, steroids, opioids, and smoking. Moreover, the signs and symptoms of this condition include pain, tenderness in the left lower side of the abdomen, nausea, vomiting, chills in the lower abdomen, cramps in the lower abdomen, constipation or diarrhea, rectal bleeding. What a mess. Okay? Now, just because I'm reading this doesn't mean I agree with everything that they say. When you are dealing with chronic constipation, oftentimes you go to the doctors always tell you that all you got to do is eat more fiber. Okay, eat more fiber, eat more fiber. If you cannot go from the picture on the left to the picture on the right, how is eating more fiber on top of chronic constipation going to help you? They told my grandmother the same thing. She was chronically constipated. And what did they tell her to do? Eat more fiber, eat more fiber. Did it fix her chronic constipation? Hell no. Did it make it worse? Of course it did. So that's why I explained the salt flush protocol first. By first cleaning out the small and large intestines to kind of reset your system. Kind of like sometimes when your computer is so messed up, you just gave it a reboot. Okay, I'm talking about this is a reboot. Over here, some people may be dealing with ulcerative colitis. It's a chronic condition that happens when you have inflammation in your colon. Many people usually experience periods of symptom flare-ups followed by periods of remission without symptoms. Signs and symptoms include diarrhea, bloody stools, abdominal cramping, and weight loss. Treatments include medication and surgery. I think one of the risk factors for this would be a lot of antibiotics. When you're dealing with antibiotics, it also destroys your microbiome. You need probiotics to kind of provide a protective layer over that pipework. Now, when you don't have the protective layer, you may get this ulcerative surface. You can see these symptoms are very similar, okay? What do the doctors usually do? They say you got these symptom flare-ups. Well, they got corticosteroids, immunosuppressants, biologics. What these medications do, they suppress the immune system, so temporarily you're not seeing any symptom flare-ups. But did you really resolve the root of the problem? Something I want you guys to always question yourself is, am I just treating the surface of the problem or treating the root of the problem? What is the root cause to my problem? The doctor's telling me X, Y, and Z, but can I get a different, opinion on this? Not only are you talking to allopathic medicine, maybe you got to talk to integrative medicine, maybe you got to talk to some naturopathic doctors that are experienced with this, so you can get a broader perspective on what the situation is all about. Next, talk about Crohn's disease. Those are becoming more and more common. Another gastro disease, as inflammatory bowel diseases. When there's inflammation in the small intestine and colon, the main symptoms of Crohn's disease are diarrhea, stomach aches or cramps, blood in the stools, tiredness, fatigue, and weight loss. It is thought to believe Crohn's disease caused due to genes, a problem in the immune system, smoking, a previous stomach bug, and an abnormal balance of gut bacteria. The risk factors for this condition include family history, smoking, certain medications like antibiotics, birth control pill, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs such as aspirin, ibuprofen, high-fat diet. So now they got inflammation going outside of the colon, but also in your small intestine. But recognizing when I've been reading these different types of medical conditions or diseases, the symptoms or the symptom flare-ups are very similar. They always talk about, all right, diarrhea, constipation, stomach aches or cramps, blood in the stools, rectal bleeding, tiredness and fatigue, right? It's really tough to tell. Do I really have Crohn's disease versus ulcerative colitis versus diverticulitis, or a combination of all the above? Now, I'm going to share some other photos with you regarding problems that you may have if you don't fix chronic constipation. Before I do that, just check my social media real quick. All right. So many people in the world, they're dealing with rectal prolapse. What is rectal prolapse? People are sitting on the toilet for a very long time. They're adding a lot of pressure. This process of doing so, their rectum actually flips inside out. Okay, and over here, some people may experience anal fissures. A fissure is simply a crack, a breakage, a splitting. It could be very, very painful. Now, if you're talking to your doctor about the rectal prolapse or anal fissures, they may say something like, well, several factors thought to be linked to rectal prolapse. There's no clear-cut cause. An estimated 30 to 67% of patients have chronic constipation, infrequent stools, severe straining, and an additional 15% have diarrhea. I think that's a pretty clear-cut cause, wouldn't you? In the past, this condition was assumed to be linked to giving birth multiple times with vaginal delivery. However, as many as 35% of patients with rectal prolapse never gave birth, and it can occur in men. There might be some genetic predisposition to this condition. In other words, some patients are more prone based on their genes to develop this condition while others don't. So a lot of times when you're reading medical texts, you gotta call cap, or you just have to think about it in a different way. Because for me, it seems to be a pretty clear-cut cause. If you're chronically constipated, you're not getting the waste material out of the body, you're straining going to the bathroom, you're adding that pressure, extra pressure around this anus area. That's what's causing all these problems. Now, you may get even more severe where you could be experiencing anal abscesses and fistulas. Now, this is a lot more common. These are hemorrhoids. Listen, even I had to go to CVS and buy Preparation H. That's how embarrassing it was because I was chronically constipated. And of course, those creams, they can offer you some relief in the short term. But if you are still chronically constipated, well, they're not going to go away. Okay, they could be very painful even when you're sleeping. You may feel that itching. Okay, it could cause pain. The hemorrhoids or piles, it could be internal or external. When you're dealing with problems such as hemorrhoids, such as anal fissures, you may be dealing with anal abscesses or rectal prolapse, they may refer you to a proctologist. Now, these are highly specialized doctors, colorectal surgeons. They treat and diagnose conditions of the entire gastric tract, but specifically issues involving rectum and anus. So they're going to examine you. Okay? Nobody looks forward to go see a proctologist. Just like nobody likes to go see their dentist. You do not want to go see a proctologist, but many people go see them. And it's kind of like very, very hush-hush because it's very embarrassing, right? So I'm trying to create an environment, and the doctor, they're going to be examining you. They're going to say, okay, I'm seeing some hemorrhoids here. You definitely have an anal prolapse. It's only getting worse, or you have combination with the fissure, with prolapse, with hemorrhoids, but no problem. We're going to fix you up. Okay, talking to this guy, he's got gloves already lined up for you. You guys understand? Okay, how many latex gloves he goes through, everything. Oh, the bottom whisper is there for you. You guys understand? And he's going to offer you different medical procedures to kind of patch up your fissure, your prolapse, fistulas, abscesses, even hemorrhoids. Now, if you're not resolving chronic constipation upstream, did you really solve the root of the problem? I want you guys to be inquisitive and ask yourself these type of questions. Because most people don't, right? You just want the problems to go away. Well, the problem is not going to go away if it's only solved temporary problems. Because you got an encrusted fecal matter stuck in your colon. You're dealing with this area right here. If you don't resolve this, going from the picture on the left to the picture on the right, you're going to develop new hemorrhoids, new fissures, new abscesses, new rectal prolapse. You guys understand? I just want to keep it 100 with y'all because this is definitely very, very real. How do I know chronic constipation is such a big problem? I know a little bit about search volume, how people search on the internet to see if there's a market for it. Most people, they have this notion of, well, society is very modern now. We have all these medical doctors. We have access to over-the-counter laxatives. Surely this problem's resolved. This should be a problem, back in the old ages. But as I look at search volume on Google, this search volume, people are typing in chronic constipation and how do I poop, all these different variations of it. It's only growing. It's recession proof. Doesn't matter what the stock market is doing, the real estate is doing. I don't care what the interest rates are. The search volume on this keyword is growing, and is growing in every single language. In English, Chinese, Spanish, Russian, Tajik, Arabic, Portuguese, every single language of the world, people are keying this in. So what's happening here is that we are making a lot of changes to our nutritional plan. I mean, there are definitely a lot of environmental toxins. There's definitely a lot of people just drinking soft drinks. They're not really drinking water, so their body is constantly dehydrated. All these could contribute to chronic constipation. Now, before I begin on the next section, I just want to take a little bit of a breather, okay, and check my social media. The next section I want to talk about is that there aren't any real answers out there. So you're going to have to find the solution for yourself. People have gone down the path of going to doctors, different specialists, and if you can find them on Facebook forums, Reddit forums, many different groups that are out there, they're looking for answers, right? Because nobody has solved their chronic constipation. That's why the search volume keeps going up and up. So they're asking these different specific questions. Sorry to be crude, but there's a big lump of poo that won't come out. What do I do? Consult has put me on perchloride, glycer suppository. Any reviews? Okay. So many problems over here. Has anyone vomited fecal matter because it can go down? Has anyone vomited fecal matter because it couldn't go down? What did you need to do about it? So they're throwing up their own feces because their own feces won't go out of their back end. It's an example of fecal and vomiting. And there's more than one case of this. What's the longest you've gone without poop? 4 weeks was hell. I was throwing up feces and blocked myself suppositories eventually. I'm so tired of this morning. I was driving, all of a sudden hits me. I didn't make it to the bathroom, all over my shorts and car seat. I'm so incredibly exhausted from this. I'm to the point of wearing adult diapers. There was a lot of mucus. It's normal. Not normal. I've been reading around. It seems to be that lenses, amitiza, integrity, and most of those eventually stop working. Has anyone noticed that or have another idea? Can't believe what we're left to do to be comfortable. I'm so backed up, my stomach is very bloated, looks and feel I'm 9 months pregnant. It's affecting my quality of life, getting depressed. Try so many things and still not able to clean out. I'm impacted. All home remedies, OTC, laxatives, enemas, dietary changes, additions, nutritional oils. Quit working last month all of a sudden. The ER can reach it and their enemas didn't work. The highest dosage for lenses does nothing. The Miralax colonoscopy prep's just giving me overflow diarrhea. Small bits are coming off the impaction, probably from the hospital. Enemas got Saturday. What else can I do? I feel like the impaction is just way too big to get out. It seems like nothing is softening enough. Hello, I've been struggling with severe chronic constipation for a couple of years now, but it's only gotten worse over the last 6 months or so. I've been prescribed Trulance and Linzess, highest doses for both. Neither of those medications working well for me at this point. Passed a little bit of stool, but not so much. I'm constantly extremely backed up. I've spent about half my waking hours lying down because I'm so bloated, nauseous, often in pain. Just think about that. Put yourself in the shoes of these individuals, okay? Some of them are very, very bold. posting their information online, but I also made them anonymous, so you're gonna provide a little bit of privacy. But at the same time, I want to let you guys know whatever they're experiencing, their situation is not unique. Oftentimes, we're embarrassed about this because we think that our situation is so unique and nobody understands us. Let me tell you, there are millions and millions and millions of people dealing with chronic constipation to different degrees. To different degrees, okay? And you want to do whatever you can to resolve chronic constipation early before you start going down this path, because the medications that she's talking about, those are not even OTC. Those are prescription strength. And she's finding that the prescription strength stuff stops working. OTC laxatives, nothing really works there. Duplex, enema suppositories, magnesium citrate, nothing works. Supposed to a colonoscopy today can keep the bowel prep down. The procedure had been rescheduled for a month from now. One of the nurses in my GI office prescribed pill-based cleanse. The pill is called Sutab. Was warned ahead of time. Patients often have trouble completely entering the bowels with this pill. So given my struggles, I'm doubtful that this will actually work for me. Here's my question. Has anyone here gone to the point where nothing works? Meds or OTC laxatives and have to have some sort of in-office medical procedure done? I'm so sick and so miserable. What about professional colonics? I'm not sure how those work. If anyone has any advice or experience with this, I'd be very grateful if you could share them with me, what you ended up doing, what the outcome was like. Thank you. That's what people are dealing with. Pay attention to this, okay? So what you guys got to do, recognizing that, okay, what are other things on my radar that I'm missing right now? She is very blessed to have the ability to go to these doctors, and the doctors are diagnosing her problem, giving her all these different medications, but she's at this point where nothing works. Well, I'm going to share some information with you that's probably off your radar, and that's internal parasites. I'm going to go through these quickly, okay? Parasites are everywhere. They could be in your food. They could be transmitted from pets. If you're drinking water, you guys need to study up on internal parasites, because a lot of you overlook internal parasites. You don't think that they exist. So instead of just listening to me, go look up, go to your local library, and really study up on these 4 major parasites: liver flukes, pinworms, tapeworms, roundworms. You got liver flukes. Understand their life cycle. You look at the foods that you're eating. If you're eating a lot of raw foods, undercooked meats, a lot of risk. Intestine products, okay? This life cycle of a tapeworm. Tapeworm, they're in pork, they're also in beef, and they're also in fish, okay? Now, this is what they look like under the microscope, but they are full-blown organisms. They can grow to an incredible size. Somebody pulled out a tapeworm that is 59 feet, or roughly 18 meters. Look up the keywords: zoonotic diseases. This is a cat getting a tapeworm pulled out. This is a dog with a lot of roundworms inside of them. Parasites can also go outside of your body, end up in your brain. This is called neurocysticercosis. Or end up in your liver. This is called cysticercosis. Pinworms are also very common. According to PubMed, this is affecting about 1 billion people worldwide from all socioeconomic classes. So it's not about where do you live. Does it affect children? It also affect adults. Roundworms also very common in your pets, in rabbits and ducks. Now, here's one of the theories that I have. They're using all these different medications, but nothing is working. It's because they have so many parasites sitting inside of them right now that poop has a very tough time exiting, because the amount of parasites is causing the obstruction inside their colon, but also in their small intestine. So food has a very tough time going through, getting digested, and also passing through this 6 meters of pipework. That's what we're talking about. So you guys got to look into some herbs for anti-parasite medications. You got clove bud, okay, you got wormwood. Look into Vermox or Mebendazole. Also black walnut hull. You guys can also look into Panicure C for your dogs. Look at Frontline Advocate for your cats. These are prescription strength medications for parasites. There are many different products on the market. Look at herbal blends, different OTC medications. Work with your doctor, naturopathic doctor. I highly recommend you gotta first get good at cleaning out this pipework comprehensively first. Start there. Later on, once you're really good at cleaning out this pipework comprehensively, then take some anti-parasite medications. After you do that, you want to go back to my soft flush protocol and flush out all the dead parasites from the small and large intestines. That's how I will go about it, and that's how I went about it the last couple of years, and this is how I coach to my people who I am. My name is John, just another regular guy. This is me before, could not lose weight, a lot of inflammation in the body. This is me going to the gym, working out 5-6 days a week, personal trainer, workout plan, not working, inflammation, chronic constipation. This is me pretty much all year around, okay? This is before Southern California, and this is me now, all year round, all year round. And how did I get that done? I started cleaning out my small and large intestines and got rid of the parasites out of my body on a consistent basis. Many people, they're experiencing weight loss using my program, improved digestive health, increased energy levels, enhanced self-confidence, reduced brain fog, better body odor control. Many people have the worst body odor. Well, it's not a surprise. Listen, if you're dealing with chronic constipation, you have that much waste material sitting inside of you. Don't you think all that smell is going to exude through your skin? Or you have the worst smelling farts? Even you have bad breath. Doesn't even matter if you mouthwash, none of that stuff works, okay? The only thing that's going to work is get yourself completely resetted, where you have the small and large intestines completely clear of debris. Let's start there, okay? And I highly recommend you guys to get my program. If you want to work with me one-on-one, that's definitely available as well. I offer coaching. You guys can get on a coaching call with me. And of course, you guys can follow me on my social medias and find out if I'm the right guy for you. Reaching out to me. We may get on a call initially. Just kind of learn your background, learn about what you've tried so far, to see if I could be a good fit to be your coach, okay? But for many of you out there, if you're just mildly constipated, consider getting my program so you can resolve your chronic constipation, okay? Not let it sit until the situation's so bad that you're gonna have to go to the doctors and get yourself a whole bunch of medical procedures. That's what most people deal with. They wait and sit on their hands for so long that they have no other option. They have to get their whole colon removed. Or they're dealing with hemicolectomies. Hemicolectomies, which will do a lot of plug and play. Or they're dealing with some type of a stoma bag. You don't want that, guys. So continue to follow me on social media. Ask any questions either in the comments below. And follow this channel, okay? Subscribe to this channel. Have you guys an amazing rest of your day. And I will talk to you soon.